Hello! Coming to you guys with another continuation of Genesis. Okay, so I woke up yesterday and the day before that, the morning, and I was maybe thinking my perspective on this chapter could be a little bit off. But you know what? The more I get into it, the more I have so much to say. I am continuously being drawn back to chapter 18. And I am discovering more and more things. So the Lord is saying, when he's having the conversation with Abraham, that he would spare a whole city for one righteous person. Feeling more into that, you know how the saying goes, it was a good thing until someone had to come and ruin it. Well, if God would spare a whole city for one righteous person, why do we let one unrighteous person change our mind, body, and soul and perception of the world, of humans, of every individual? You know, this is where the righteous must learn to walk away when something feels wrong in their heart. Because you see, us righteous people staying in the wrong environment saves them and keeps God from being able to do what he has to do. And I have lots of examples of this in my life. Furthermore, as we continue on, we get to chapter 23. So this is where Abraham insists on buying land to bury his wife Sarah. Okay, so there's all these people gathered around. I'm just curious, like, in your own opinion. Chapter 23, verse 11. No, my lord. Hear me. I give you this field and the cave that is in it. I give it to you in the presence of the sons of my people. I give it to you. Bury your dead. No money, compassion, kindness, camaraderie, honor, respect. You, I want to say like being humanitarian, like real. In this very moment, when he insisted on paying, what example did he set for every single person there? For the man, for men, and every generation to follow. That having compassion and being, what do you call that? I don't have the word for it right now, but the land isn't to be sold. The land is to be nurtured. As the land nurtures us and gives us life, we are supposed to do the same in return. And he just changed the trajectory of life and all in existence from that moment forward. So when you go to chapter 24, verse 18, drink, my lord. All lowercase lords, servants fall underneath that one as well. Chapter 25. Abraham took another wife after Sarah had passed away, and he had 6 more sons. He favored his one son over his 6 other ones. And he calls his wife a concubine, which is a woman who is a wife but is in a lower position than other wives. What are we reading right now? And I was just wondering, like, since when did pyramid schemes exist in marriages? That's new. Does anyone else do that? How do you preach this? What do you talk about when you're preaching this? I'm just curious. Like, and then he favors his one and he ends up sending the rest of them eastward. And then when Abraham passes, he has Isaac and then Isaiah, right? That's the guy's name. Oh, Ishmael, sorry. Ishmael and Isaiah. They come and they bury him with Sarah. Okay, great. Awesome. God bless. Ishmael ends up dying, but he died in all the presence of his brethren. Do you know what? Like, what does that mean? To me, I'm like, do you know what? Everyone was there for Isaiah, or sorry, everyone was there for Ishmael. Chapter 25. And Abraham gave all that he had to Isaac, but Abraham gave gifts to the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, and while he was still living, he sent them eastward, away from Isaac, his son, to the country of the east. This continues on in the lineage as you continue to read on. So the death of Abraham, it talks about the sons of Ishmael. Ishmael dies, but in the presence of all his brethren. So Abraham begot Isaac. When Isaac was 44 years old when he got Rebekah, his wife. So far, Abraham, who was a prophet, changed the trajectory of the world, saying that it's not okay to not pay for something, pay for a piece of land in the moment of death, to have the compassion for the death, for another human being when they're going through grief. He changed that into the you now pay for your dead. Cool. He's also set the tone for favoring a child over other children, and concubines, having concubines and them being less worthy. Okay, great on. Okay, let's keep going into the story. Again, Abimelech, we're back at the Egyptian king, or the Palestinian king. Now, Isaac lies about his wife being his sister. Oh, wow. Why did his father never talk to him about this? And how he said he wouldn't do that to Abimelech ever again. And now here's his son repeating in his steps. Like, is there any kind of communication going on here? Any wisdom being passed down? Just wondering. And the Lord appeared to him and said, do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land in which I shall tell you. Dwell in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. For you and your descendants I will give these land, and I will perform the oath which I swore to Abraham your father. Okay, so you keep going on. So Isaac dwelt in Gerar. What did he do? He didn't listen to the Lord. Nope. He went there anyway. And then he is staying in Egypt, and he became very grand, and the Palestinians became very envious of him. And then they told him to leave because he was mightier than them. So he leaves, and they end up like messing with his wells. How many times? I believe 2 times. He built a well for water, and then they're like, this is our water, and then they destroyed the other one, and then he finally built a well, and he felt like God had made space for him. This is where he's supposed to be dwelling, right? So then Abimelech shows up with Ahuzah, one of his friends, and now they see that Isaac is being blessed by the Lord, and they want to make a truce after they kicked them out because they were envious and they destroyed his wells. And what does he do? He drinks with them, he prepares the food, he has wine with them, and then in the morning, they make an oath, they make a covenant, and they go their separate ways. So I'm just curious, like, I don't give a fuck who you are. After you want to destroy my wells, after you want to come and be envious towards me, like, I got nothing against you, but I ain't about to drink with you and eat with you either. Just saying. Because it's not genuine. These aren't your allies. These are people that would stab you in the back the moment that they get the upper hand. That's like street etiquette 101, okay? Like, anyway, so they departed from him in peace because, like their reasons for why he should do it is because they have not touched, um, we have not done nothing to you but good. Really, is it really good that you destroyed my wells? That you kicked me out because you're envious? Is that good? No, that's passive aggressive. Like, get the fuck out of here. Okay. Isaac, his wife Rebecca, she was having issues getting pregnant, but she had twins in her stomach. When she got pregnant, she had Jacob, and I can't pronounce his name anyway, but he was very hairy. He was a hairy boy. And Isaac favored him because he ate of his game. But Rebecca loved Jacob. Now, when it came down to Isaac getting old and having to die, they end up fooling Isaac with thinking that it was his brother, but it was actually Jacob. And his mom had dressed him in the fur of the goat that they killed, and she cooked food for him to eat so that when he gave the blessing and he's like, come closer to me, he like felt the fur, his skin, and it was furry. But he was wearing his brother's clothes, so he smelt like him too. It was his mom's idea to get Jacob to dress up like his brother and to take the blessing from his brother. Why? It doesn't really talk much about that, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. Oh yeah, so his brother, birthright. So he's like, look, I'm about to die, so what is my birthright to me? He ends up giving it to Jacob, and Jacob ends up feeding him stew. He traded it for stew. Like, what is this birthright? I don't understand. What is this thing? Then when his brother returns and he's like, I have food for to be cooked. And he figures out that his brother has taken his blessing. He plans on killing Jacob. We'll call him Azu. Azu. We'll call him Azu, okay? So Azu, now a keeper of the land, he got two wives. And these two wives were of great pain to Isaac and Rebekah. Grief of mind. They were a grief of mind. And Azu hated Jacob because of the blessing in which his father blessed him. And Azu said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. So her older son, she overheard this. Surely your brother Azu comforts him concerning you by intending to kill you. Uh, Now therefore, my son, obey my voice. Flee to my brother Laban and Haran, and stay with him a few days until your brother's fury turns away and he forgets what you have done to him. And I will send and bring you from there. So then she says, Isaac called Jacob, his father called Jacob, and blessed him and charged him and said to him, you shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Okay, this is where it just starts to get weird. This is where I'm like back at like, okay, what the fuck am I reading? Okay, because so when Rebecca first gets pregnant, the younger one shall rule over the older one. This is like God forecasting some kind of ego death, some kind of war. That's what I got from that. And the lineage, okay. So what birthright? Genesis chapter 28, verses 1 and 2. They're trying to keep the bloodline pure. Isaac's brother, but it's his wife's father. Okay, so that means Isaac and his brother had a Becca and Laban, and his brother married his daughter. And this is where I had a hard time continuing forward. Okay, because like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Like, what the fuck am I reading right now? And how the hell do you preach this? I don't give a flying F. I'm going to be the one to say it, okay? If you're not giving this as an example of what is wrong, and you're too afraid that like, oh, you gotta like this, it's not all love and light. This book is not all love and light. People like you, wife, by their like, oh well, it's the times. It was the times. Oh, back in the day, it's the times. No, it's not the fucking times. What's wrong is wrong. Okay? You're gonna marry your brother's daughter? They're trying to keep the bloodline pure. Can you not pick that up? The bloodline of what? What's wrong is wrong, okay? And oh, it's the times. Oh, it's the times. You know what? Like, go right ahead and say, oh, it's the times. But it's people like you. Why? We still have racism. If you're not willing to say what's wrong is wrong, I don't give a fuck what point in time it is. What's wrong is wrong. It feels wrong in my heart, and I'll stand on that. His brother's daughter. And now she's sending her son to her brother's daughter. But like Isaac, if this is her father, Isaac's brother was her father, and Isaac married her. I don't care, man. I'm gonna say it. This is not a book of all love and light. This is a book of like what's messed up in this world. This is a book of what you should be teaching children what not to do. This is a book of examples of like maybe that wasn't okay. Maybe we should learn from that. No, it's not. Oh, it was the times. Oh, it was the times. No, man, it doesn't matter about time. Like, come on, pull your head out of your ass here and look at it for what it is. Look at the story for what it is. What is actually the context of what is being said here. I ain't worshiping that. But it will sure as hell stand as a good example of what I will not stand for in my life. I don't need a crowd. I don't need a posse. I don't need a gang to come with me. What's wrong is wrong and always will be wrong. You're probably not saying, oh, it's the times, you know, when all those Aboriginal children got killed. Oh, it was the times. Oh, no, like no one says that. Same kind of rule here, bro. Same kind of thing flies. Having a really hard time getting through this chapter or this book. Okay. Peace and love, you guys. Bye.